Yeah, I'm too old.
If we're going to be vacant from a meeting, absent from a meeting, what do we have to do about that?
Well, you've been away from too many as it is. So.
No, I'm out, yeah.
Yeah, just lodge your, just let us know.
I'm not going to be around in July, that's
Yeah, so you just lodge it with CEO himself.
Yeah.
Which know you as being absent. Righto, we're up and going. Thank you very much. 6:30 on the dime. What timing? Timing. So, start the meeting. Apologies and leave absences. We don't have any. Confirmation of council minutes. Recommendation the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held Wednesday, 16th of April, 2025 be taken as read and confirmed. Move to Luke. Seconded.
When can you do it correctly?
Seconded, Neville, and yeah, anyone want to put anything?
I just think when I did my motion that I had for our next meeting, page 15, page 10.
Oh, but you thought that said by next meeting?
Well, that's what's in my notes here, whether that was the
Okay.
motion or.
Got
What was the motion?
That's there, line 3.
Council remove all faded and redundant signage around our townships.
Go back and look at the video.
Yeah, just so it never concluded otherwise.
So that was by this meeting.
Yeah.
Which would mean it hasn't concluded.
So that's why we have them up here so that you read them and.
We'll make sure it's
Yeah,
right.
So I think-
that's right before you. Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's been started. Pretty sure.
recommend our ordinary council meeting held Wednesday, 16th be taken as read and confirmed. Can we put on there a note or not, like in the recommendation, or is it simple?
I'm just. What would you like to put?
Well,
Already gonna.
it's been so noting that 15.3 hasn't been completed by this meeting, as was Trevor's belief.
Yeah, I believe, I mean.
But yeah, well, it has been confirmed, it has been commenced. I'm just putting that. It hasn't been completed by this meeting, as was. There you go, councillor. Yep, got a quote box. I'll leave it. To be confirmed upon review. But noting the project, further noting the project has commenced, and I'm nervous putting a time frame there without Ben being able to comment, because I don't know if there's a hold up for some reason.
I haven't had any signs yet.
Well, there's a,
I know he's waiting for some signs because there was waiting for a couple from me.
To be confirmed upon review, but further noting that the project has been commenced. Are you happy with that, Trevor? And then that way we'll go back, see what it is. I mean, the minutes will be moved because minutes are what they are, but it may mean that we've got a.
and might have even gone through that motion with that on it, but I just said email.
Well, interestingly, that's going to be on the.
It's on that, Jason.
It's going to be on the. It's going to be on the list.
Yeah, it is. But
Yeah.
It's not, it's just never ending.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Yeah. So did that cover you, Trevor? You happy with that?
Yeah.
Yep. Does that make sense for you, Shona? Happy with that? Because your face is a bit contorted.
When those pictures in the elected members report, they had the signage was going through all those signs.
Yeah. But it was, had a lot in there.
Yeah.
All right, so is that okay with the mover and the seconder?
Yeah.
Yep. Anyone else? All those in favour? Terry? You? Thanks, Trevor. Must admit I scanned them, but I didn't pick that up, so we can know that wasn't right. And Mayor's opening remark, I think a couple of things I'd like to put in this week, this meeting. Firstly, we've obviously had a series of workshops and budget workshop that we weren't expecting. Whilst the need for it is disappointing, the outcome and the information sharing between the administration, represented by Jason. I didn't realise you know.
Oh, well, I won't have to.
You can get it off of the YouTube if you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, just want to, I guess, commend the chamber or the members on the way that the workshop and discussions are held. Commend Jason on his openness to listen, understand, and accept our desire to move forward with haste. So I think that's something I want to publicly acknowledge. And likewise, I think acknowledge that there's a fair bit going on in different parts of the community with regards to drought and the season conditions. And whilst it hasn't affected everyone equally, it has affected some people across the district. And I think it's important that we note that we understand that, and want to reiterate that no matter what budget is in place and when it's in, that our hardship policies or rates are available to all, including farmers, and so to encourage them to make sure they use that if they need it, make the application. I don't believe it's too onerous on our part, and we'll certainly, we have accommodation for them. So don't wonder that you can or can't do it. So I just wanted to make that declaration while I could. So moving on, declarations of conflict of interest. I don't believe there are any. Petitions, there are none. Deputations, there are none. Presentations, there are none. Elected members report, mayoral update. The Anzac Day services that I attended in Pinnaroo and Geranium, along with Jason in Pinnaroo, Robin came with me to both. They were both extremely well attended in both towns, and when I drove through Lameroo, I think Lameroo was the same. Deputy Mayor Mead attended that one, and I think good representation, good conversations with people after the breakfast and the dinner. So it was really good to see strong numbers there again. And there was an ABC interview, read the Country Fire Service and Australian Ambulance Service motion, but I'll probably deal with that more in the motion than here, because that's in the report. And letter sent to the Prime Minister, probably just saying what we've discussed earlier, both online in the budget review, budget workshop. FA grant funding is of the utmost important to us and all other rural councils, small rural councils like ourselves. I've tried to restart our case yet again, hold out hope that it gets somewhere, but may at some point need to engage the public's help, the farmers as farmers, but also the general public to try and support petitions or whatever we might need to do to try and shift the needle a bit if we can. So that's it. So I move my own report, I think, don't I? Yep. Recommendation, council receives and notes condenses the report. I move it. Second it. David was first. Anyone got any questions on it? No. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Elected members' reports. Start with Chris.
Yeah, I attended the Anzac Day ceremony here in Lady Council Reef. It was fantastic. Fantastic morning, well supported. Lions Club did an amazing job in getting everyone fed. I think they did around 120 odd breakfasts. Well, so yeah, it was really good service.
And great local made wreaths by Yeti. They were fantastic,
yes,
native wreaths, so really good.
Great job done.
Yeah, no, the kids spoke well, spoke there, including my daughter. Yeah, I was well attended.
Good. I attended the Geranium one, but
Yep.
I wouldn't. It was good, so pass on.
Karen,
Nothing to report.
no. Do I need to move that for Chris's report or leave that as just a bit?
You can just move it.
Move it, received and noted. Sorry, Neville move it, seconded by Luke. All in favour? Gary, thank you. Reports from committees, minutes of Audit and Risk Committee, responsible officer, CEO.
Right, thank you. Yes. The recommendation is that council. Right, here we go. Accepts the minutes of the Audit and Risk Committee meeting held Wednesday, 14th of May, 2025 as read and received. applies an indexation to council's transport assets in line with local government price index as at 30 June 2025. Complete a full revaluation and condition assessment report in the financial year 2025-26 dated as at 30th of June 2026. Notes that the Audit and Risk Committee has reviewed the Southern Mallee District Council 25-26 draft annual business plan and budget as contained in attachment 1. In terms of the assumptions underpinning the plan, its consistency with the strategic management plans of adequacy of the plans in the context of maintaining financial sustainability. Words, adopt the draft funding policy and adopt the draft treasury management policy. I don't have much more to add. We've spoken at length. So is there, sorry?
They do them all separate.
If you want me to read them all.
No.
I move it. Second.
Oh, sorry, right.
Just trying to work out how to do that now that you've separated them.
You don't have to, but I just thought if there's some in there that you wanna change or something you don't wanna do.
Yeah, probably, it's not normal practice, but with the leave of the chamber, I wanna give my view of that meeting and what happened. Is it appropriate for me to do that like this before we move it and second it, or do we need to do that first?
Suspension.
Yeah, perhaps we'll do that. With the leave of the members, just want to suspend the meeting procedures for probably only 5 minutes. I just want to make sure that on the telecast we're covering it off for those that have attended. So can I vote, please? Yep. Moved. So look, I just wanted to put my take on it, and that was that it was a very good meeting in that we certainly pulled the blanket up and had a look underneath. Specifically, I would say that I made mention at that meeting that I would not, because it was up for the committee to pass Budget Review 3, and I said I would not do that. I would not vote to accept Budget Review 3 for the reasons we've gone through in our previous session. The committee decided that they were able to accept it as noted as being accepted, but they didn't actually have to approve it or identify with it. So that's what happened. Equally, I said that I was not prepared to, and I also should note on there that I said that I don't believe it was right that the budget review went to the Audit and Risk Committee before it had been to the chamber, particularly one that had changes in it. So again, they absolutely agreed with that and said all we've got to do is note it. We don't have to actually agree with it. So they did. Moved the same with the draft annual business plan and budget. I said for the same reason I wouldn't vote to pass that through the audit committee. So they've chosen to note it as being the budget. Again, they don't have to approve our budget. They look at it from an accounting point of view to make sure it's meeting the standards, and it does meet all the audit standards. It's their job is not to deliver sustainability, although the word was used in there, I did know. I also made mention, because we don't see the minutes obviously on here, that there was a note 5.7 employee excessive leave balances update, and that report was given. And I made the comment in that meeting that that the large work in reducing that had been as a result of staff members leaving who had large accruals owing. And so I just wanted to note those things. And then, of course, I went into the fact that the draft budget, which was attached, had inaccuracies in it because the original data was wrong. We won't go and relitigate those again because they were already asked and answered in our session. So, yeah, that's really what I want to note, is that it seems when you read that, that it's kind of a, yes, we think it's good and yes, we agree. It's not really like that. It was more, we don't have to approve it, and we believe it should go back to the chamber for looking at, which is what's happening now. That's a fair assessment.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Cool. In that case, we'll come back out of restate. So with that in mind, can I just reread the recommendations to make sure that it is saying that? Section is.
Oh, you want one where they gave their number 4?
Councillor District and draft annual English contains assumption of the PFA existing history. Yeah, well, I mean, for me personally, I don't think that one should have that it is consistent with the strategic management plans. It can have that and the adequacy of the plans in the context of maintaining financial sustainability. Though, we certainly, that's not what the meeting reflected, I don't believe. What do you say to that?
Yeah, it was.
It was that it was to the existing strategic management plans, absolutely.
And it was more to the compliance of the.
And
the
compliance,
legislation behind.
But it wasn't anything about them endorsing that these were maintaining financial sustainability, because they heard exactly what was said.
But that's the motion they made.
That was the motion they moved. Okay, we're a bit stuck with it now.
Yeah, the Audit and Risk Committee make recommendations, they don't make decisions.
Yeah, I know. I'm concerned about the financial sustainability words in there, but anyway, that's all right. So based on that, do I have a mover for recommendation 1, please? Council accepts minutes, Audit and Risk Committee. Well, firstly, do you want to do them separately or just do them as one? I'm not sure. You want to do them separately? Okay.
Might leave some off.
Council accepts the minutes of the Audit and Risk Committee meeting held on Wednesday, 14th May 2025 as read and received, attachment 1. Neville, seconded Trevor. Anyone want to speak to that?
Yeah, in the notes, there was something there about employee housing as a risk. Did you guys talk about that in the meeting?
Yes, in the strategic risks,
It was mentioned.
I think we re-established that it was one of the strategic risks, yes, but didn't go in length. The meeting ran about an hour over, I think, and
Sounds like a pretty big.
yeah, it was pretty full on, but it was re-acknowledged as a current strategic risk by the CEO when he was asked what his current things are. The one difference that I'll put to that was that it was also said that those risks should stay on as a register, like we have with our motions register, so that things don't drop off and then come back on, they stay on so that they can be addressed, and that was taken up as being something that should happen. So, yeah. Anyone else? All those in favour? Against? Carried, thank you. Recommendation 2, the council applies an indexation to council's transport assets in line with the local government price index. As at 30 June 2025, refer report attachment 2. Do I have a move for that, please? We actually don't have a choice.
Yeah, we have to.
That's a legislative thing. We don't have a choice.
That's the 200.
Yeah, that's the 257,000.
Yeah.
Neville, second to Chris. Does anyone want to speak to that? And yeah, I'll re-add, that's a regulation requirement of the Act. We do not have a choice.
No.
That will be applied regardless of whether we accept it or not.
Yeah.
All those in favour? Well, yeah, because we've separated them. Recommendation 3, council complete a full revaluation and condition assessment report for financial year 25/6 dated as at the 30th of June. Refer to report 2. Just going to note on that, it's saying that the report is to be dated the 30th of June, not by, it's to be dated the 30th of June, because it's effective the 30th of June. If it's before, it creates problems in the budget. That's as discussed previously. Do I have a mover for that? Chris, seconder. David, does anyone want to speak to that?
That's just for all assets, is it? Everything?
Yeah, so that's the other part of the one above it. So that's doing all the road and stormwater assets. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's not buildings and stuff.
No.
We need to specify that it is the roads and stormwater.
No, well, that's the condition assessment and revaluation is specifically for roads and stormwater. That's the one that's been put in the schedule for this year. So it's actually a work schedule that they've got in place.
Says council transport assessments.
Just that we're a year later than we should have. Is that right?
Yeah. And basically the auditors have said, if you break it up and do it this way, we'll approve it. If you don't, we won't.
I have no issue with it. I just thought maybe it'd be better.
So what I'm saying in that is whether we could put the council doc full transport.
Yep.
Transport and stormwater, wasn't it? Transport and stormwater. All those in favour? Against? Carried, thank you. 4, The council notes that the Audit and Risk Committee has reviewed the Southern Mallee District Council 25-6 draft annual business plan and budget as contained in attachment 1 in terms of the assumptions underpinning the plan, its consistency with the strategic management plans and the adequacy of the plans in the context of financial sustainability. So I'm just going to comment on that again, what I said a minute ago. And Jason said, so that is as far as the Act is concerned and the KPIs and things they have to do and the audit rules, it's compliant with that. It's not
aligned with compliance.
Well, in other reports, they've acknowledged that there's work to do on the asset management plans that we've put forward.
Yeah, but I just still don't understand how you can tick the boxes to say, yes, we are financially stable and actually not be financially stable.
Yeah.
So I just don't see how that works. But anyway,
No,
I'm just not going to. No,
I actually agree, which is why I said before about the financial sustainability part. I didn't realise it was in their motion. And
that wasn't in there.
I wouldn't have, I would have changed it at that point. So that's remiss of me not to realise that was in the motion. Because the discussion was about it being just that we're in compliance. We're not necessarily saying it's sustainable because they agreed that they couldn't make that decision based on what was put in front of them and had to go back to us.
They said, we're not the finance department.
Yeah, but that's sort of saying they are, I guess is the argument.
Yeah.
And being it's their motion, can we not, I mean, it's their motion, can we not put a comment to that?
It's just that you know.
You're noting it,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's what they said. It kind of, disappointingly, it kind of has zero weight on both sides. It's not, it's meeting a criteria, it's not actually doing anything, which really sucks.
Just noting the fact.
We're only noting it.
Yeah.
We're not
That's all.
accepting it, we're just noting it.
Not accepting it, just knowing that they have looked at it.
Well, they're noting it, saying they haven't accepted it, and we're noting that they've noted it. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Right.
It's just ridiculous. So I'm in agreement with Luke and vote as you wish accordingly, I believe. So do I have a mover, please?
Well, we don't move.
Yeah,
They know
just
that.
note that.
Second.
We're only noting it.
Yeah.
Chris, all those in favour? Against? Carried, thank you. And noted. Recommendation 5, that council adopt the draft funding policy May 25, attachment 4, and that is the policy around funding. It's not actually our grant funding or anything like that. It's just the policy if our funding comes in. Do I have a mover for that?
Yeah.
Chris, seconder. That Trevor's pen up. Yep, Trevor. Anyone want to speak to that? All those in favour? Against? Carried, thank you. The council adopt the draft treasury management policy, same thing. It's a policy which you would have been able to read in there. It's not a policy. Yeah. Mover was Neville. Seconder, Chris. Want to speak to that? All those in favour? Against? Very good. Got 11, page 53.
Okay, 133.
133. Way down there. Yeah. 11.1 budget review 3. CEO.
Yeah. So a recommendation is that we receive and note the contents of the report and adopt budget review 3 for the 2024-2025 financial year. So budget review 3 has been an interesting one again. What was originally put up was just sort of thumbed through, which wasn't right. So we've gone back and done as close to a full budget review as should have been done in the first place. So we've taken a couple of the movements and actually really extrapolated them out to be more true and correct of what actually can be changed. Now you'll note in this one here, we've got the prepayment again of the Grants Commission payments. and what implications that has and what doesn't have. But yeah, you can see the changes that we've made there, so yeah, I'm happy to field any questions and so what we've,
I'm going to move that we suspend the standing orders again with the other vote, please, to endorse that. 5 minutes, thank you. The reason I've done that is because just before we ascertain that we're really not 100%, well, I think we are sure now on what that funding actually means.
Yes.
We're in agreement that it's
That's right.
actually not in there,
let's leave it
which
there.
means this is not right. And so I think with that, we can't change it. It is what's here. I think we're going to come back in a week or so for the budget. I think we should just pass on this and not move it so that this can come back in its best form as well. Because otherwise we're passing something we know to be wrong.
Yeah.
And that was the argument in the first place.
I do have a real issue too that it's not a.
I have something I'd like to say that I won't. Yeah. Okay, well, I just think that's the most sensible course of action. We know now that grant funding is not right to be back in here. Yes, the timing might be there, but we can't have that affecting it, and it affects it by a couple of $1 million.
It's a shipment, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that's
So
right.
we just got to defer this to another meeting.
Yeah, so we're already saying we're going to have a special meeting for the budget passing in a week or so. I think this can come back at the same meeting.
So to do number one, okay.
Receive a note of content for the report, yeah.
Well, the problem is if we don't touch it at all, we just don't move it, then it just sits here and doesn't go anywhere and they bring it back. As soon as we move one part of it, we've then got to deal with the other part of it. So I think we're better.
Sorry, you don't have to move the whole recommendation, you can just move.
Yeah, what you want.
Yeah, you can move whatever you want, you can just
Yeah.
say you want to receive the report.
But I don't really want to receive a note because it's not really correct.
Yeah. Can you just defer it until we have our special meeting?
Well, you just
That's what I'm saying.
and we do that by basically not moving it.
Okay.
It just sits there. They will go away and come back, which sounds terrible, but yeah, bring it back. It's better terminology.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, okay.
So in that case, we move on. Well, sorry, we come back out of standing orders.
Yeah.
And I guess people are happy with that? Well, it's better.
It's what it is. If no one moves it, well, it's not gonna happen, is it?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
So
We haven't technically, so is there a first report?
Like as in somebody's got a ask for the first part, do you take them to do that and then it lapses or not?
can do, yep, so
Just
yeah.
procedure, I would.
oh, look, well, I did ask that before and I think I don't know that bit, so do I have a mover?
Not gonna move there.
I'd rather just move it, we defer it till we have a special meeting, that way it's on the books that we're gonna defer it, look at it, so I think that's what you gotta do, don't you, I reckon? Otherwise it's gonna get lost somewhere,
Yeah.
so I reckon.
Well, it won't get lost because they can't do it, they have to bring a budget review through,
okay.
they have to do it, it's legislative. So it can't be lost, and it hasn't been passed through here and it's in a public document in an agenda, so.
Yeah.
Which way do you want to share it? Yeah.
I would say,
Defer.
well, councillor Fife is recommending to move a decision that council defer budget review 3.
Yeah.
Until.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it, so I am moving that way, so.
Until when?
So
The special meeting,
After
which
special meeting.
will be called as soon as we have.
At
At, or at.
Council deferred budget review 3
Yes.
to the special budget council meeting to be called in the near term.
Actually get figured. I'm really trying.
Sorry.
Held in the near term. Because I don't want to commit 1 week and then he needs another day. I'd rather have the CEO come back to me and then I'll call the meeting.
2 days and have this one.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
You happy with that?
I'm happy with that.
You happy with that, Charlotte?
That puts it.
Happy days. Righto. We've got a mover, we've got a seconder. If no one seconded, that'd be interesting. David's a seconder. All those in favour? You can't just abstain from everything, Luke. Yes or a no? You can go no. Those against?
Yeah, I'm going everything against that. I don't want anything against that bloody report at all.
Carried, thank you.
One answer the question here, what the DA consultant?
Development.
Development application.
We're paying 25 grand for this.
It needs investigation, no doubt.
This one I feel I've got this, I think.
Public toilet cleaning,
157.
increase.
We're on that one.
One of my tags fallen off. Yeah, I done paper. I pulled a tag off. There we go. 157, thank you. So draft annual business plan and budget. So based on that, are we doing the same methodology? You didn't say this earlier. We would have had it pre-prepared. So Scrabble, she's written it in there already. Righto. So this one, actually, the recommendation is that we council defer the draft annual business plan and budget to the special budget council meeting to be held in the near term.
That sounds a good idea.
No, not to be correct. Do a move for that? David, seconder, Neville. Anyone want to speak to that?
Just out of thought. I don't think we should endorse it today at all, but just we're going to the government and we're asking for more funding, whatever kind of thing. If we've got a budget there with a healthy surplus, they're gonna, as soon as we talk to them about it, they're gonna look at it and say, these guys don't actually really need funding either. So maybe the squirreling and shaving things down so it looks healthy on paper, maybe we're shooting ourselves in the foot.
Don't think you know.
It's just a thought.
Yeah, no. And look, I don't think we ever want to let good thoughts go,
No.
out to the thing.
Like I'd love to see a surplus there and all that stuff.
In their world, that's not regarded.
That's under a England one.
No, because of they look at it in percentage terms, and they will say, even if you had a 2% surplus, which is where we were heading, that's not a surplus in their world, as the Act says, either 0 or 1 to 10%. So a big surplus would be 10%. So for us, that's $1 million, and we're certainly not going there. And the data that the Grants Commission has equates everything based on need. So it says based on need, they know we need about 2.5 times the grant money that we get. So.
Anyway, I wouldn't really want to see a 5% surplus in there anyway, because it's a hard year for the farmers this year. I don't think this is the year we should be.
Oh, we won't be getting a 5% surplus.
No,
It's not going to happen.
We're lucky to break even.
Sorry, we need to probably add in the fees and charges to bring them back
Oh, okay.
as well.
So part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to change.
So, but we'll deal with this one first. Yeah.
No, that's all I'm good.
Yep. Anyone else? All those in.
So you're sorry. You happy for the fees and charges to be in there, or you want to?
No, that's
Oh, wasn't that a separate agenda item?
No,
Oh, it's not. Okay, well then, yes, it should be.
yeah, it should be.
Sorry, no one else. I understand now. In the near term. All those in favour? Against? Carried, thank you. Well, I think we're on 224, is that right? Yeah. Application for loan, this time CEO.
So. I think we all know that the recommendation is that council approve establishment of a 5-year, $1 million cash advance facility and authorise the mayor and CEO to approve the loan document. So we had a overdraft facility of 1.224 million. It expired in April 2025. And with this facility used to maintain cash flow in times of waiting for rates and grants and all of that, everyone knows how an overdraft works. So we are looking to replace that one with not with the $1 million cash advance facility, just to ensure we've got funds to pay our bills before rates and grants come in.
Every time a monthly cash flow sort of things.
Was that let expire? Or did that accidentally expire, or what happened?
I think it was only for 2 years. Is what it was taken out for. But it's an interesting point.
So it was paid back, just the facility expired.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it went, yeah, it's not like we paid anything.
We didn't use it.
Yeah.
Didn't use the cabinet.
Well, I'd say with that amount, we'd probably used it for a specific purpose, because it's an odd amount.
Yeah.
And it was paid back, and it just wasn't renewed when it
Yeah,
came
right.
to its maturity date.
Yeah.
Because you can't have those owing, like, we need to account for the others when they reach their maturity date.
That's right.
If they're not already paid. But we can we'll get their turn to talk about it if we move it and second it, so have a mover.
Yeah.
Luke.
Move some.
Second to David. Okay, does anyone want to speak to that stuff, Chris?
Yeah, well, I guess we need to see in that revised budget, if we would. We'll get back to it, like,
Yeah. And we can.
need to see, you know, about where the actual shortfall is of having to pay these bills to use that facility. Why is there a shortfall and where it sits in a monthly?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, absolutely. It's current at the moment because we've got rates and then we've got an extra grant due in June, not the extra grant, but another grant.
The rest of the grant.
Yeah. So that's, that's 1.4 million dollars we're waiting.
So I understand we're gonna have shortfalls in there, but I'd like to see month by month. where the shortfall
Yeah,
hits.
that's a good idea. We can do that.
Do we need that full amount? Do we need the full mill there to?
The full amount, I would really hope we don't know where near it.
Yeah.
It's there as a security, but and if we did need anything near it, it would be used for a week. For what the current purpose.
And as we talked about previously, if it is for $1 million, then when it comes to, that's telling me that whole million needs to be accounted for because we have access to it, whether we spend it or not, it becomes a liability.
The fourth lot of rates only due on the 10th of June.
We're in meeting procedure now there, and we could get your turn in a second.
Oh, no, sorry, I just asked a question.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. David?
Yeah, I was wondering what the cost of it is to have that facility. That's the only thing I've got now.
So until you draw down on it, it's nothing.
Oh,
So
right.
it doesn't cost us anything, but it's when there's money out, it's the 5.75%.
With see, quarterly see.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all right.
I'm sure we do somewhere. Like, Trevor?
I guess it's the facility again.
Neville?
I said my bit.
We ignored you because you weren't there. What was your bid?
No, I just said, rates only due on the 10th of June, so if we've got to have some extra money before they come in, we'll instead of use if we have to have it, so. Which we probably won't have to, maybe. I would really hope not.
I'm scared, but like.
Trying really hard. Actually, I'm not going to say anything. Just disappointed.
Yeah.
Very disappointed. That's all I'm going to say.
Only thing I would
And
say,
people should read into it to understand why I'm disappointed.
what I would say in there is probably just a note, Jason, is with that report that Chris has spoken about, which I think is a good idea, that we understand what the current cash advance, short-term loans are being utilised for.
Yeah.
So that we don't end up in a situation where we have one coming due and we don't have the money to pay. Because these are meant to be overdraft, so they should be in and out quickly. That's right. They certainly shouldn't carry over years, because and if they are, then we probably should take the right loan for them and not have them tying up short-term availability.
And what you mentioned before, $1,224,430 looks like it's
Very much.
for a specific item, not as a overdraft facility.
Okay, all those in favour? Against? Gary, thank you. Thank you. Free camping policy, someone different. Right,
Thank you, Mayor. So the recommendations are there for you to read, but with the council's indulgence, I'll just go through a couple of things that I think you need to keep in mind when you're looking at this policy. Unregulated camping of private RVs on council land has been an increasingly pressing issue for us. So the idea of this policy is to give us a framework around what this council wants to do with addressing those problems. There's a growing prevalence of RV parking and camping going on through the district, and obviously across Australia, the state and across Australia. Demand for these spaces are increasing in different areas. And you have had some ructions between campers. I'll go with that. With the best word I can come up with. And we need to be able to manage the land that they're using. We've got areas where they've been camping before and vehicles have been traipsing through trees and stuff and ruining amenity.
Not are you aware there's also been friction between campers and constituents?
That's what I'm going to get to.
Okay. Right.
So yes, I am. And one of the other things which Mayor has just indicated is that there is also friction between the campers and other ratepayers and other people in the areas that these people are parking or camping. The policy that we've developed will allow the council to balance the needs of visitors and the rights and expectations of our residents and protect our public assets and promote sustainable land use. We've designated the camping area, so you can see the clearly defined, hopefully they can understand what we're talking about. If there are questions around those, and answer them. We've identified a maximum stay limit of 7 days within a 30-day period, but other councils have ranged from 1 day through 14 days. So we need to figure out what's the best policy there, but 7 days seems to be something I think we can handle from an administration point of view. Don't put too much onus on to get around them all the time, but it gives us some oversight and the ability to actually audit this policy. And that's probably all the things I want to bring to your attention. So the recommendations are, as read there, that you receive the contents of the report, adopt a policy with an effective date of June 1, 2025, and authorise the chief executive officer to make any formatting, nomenclature, or any other minor changes prior to the June 1, 2025 date.
I'll just add through you, Mr. Mayor, that we are by no means wanting to restrict the free camping that's going on, because I think it's fantastic. The one at Pinnaroo, I drive past it every morning. There's at least 3 vans every morning. They're spending money in town. I think it's a great thing, and they give us no trouble. In fact, that place looks clean. It's amazing. This is just for that 0.001% that tending to be turds that we need something to be able to actually
Live stream.
Yep, they would agree. That we've actually got legs to stand on, and in Shiloh, because we're not going to be paying Shiloh to go and check in every day. This we just need that when something happens, Shiloh can go in there. And got some rules to keep them in. That's right. You go ahead, and if they don't listen to us, we've got the policy, and then it's the police, and we're done. So it's we love it. We really do. However, we need to be able to act when people are not being. Very nice.
So the policy is one thing, but do we need actual bylaw?
To be ultimately effective, a bylaw would be useful, and the mayor's obviously put up a motion to that later on. And if you adopt this policy, that feeds into the bylaw. The policy tells that bylaw as part of the community land, government land. Sorry, I apologise. The government land bylaw. So anything you make a decision on here would drive that bylaw. So, but this is the first part. Policy directions.
Do I have a mover? Chris, second to Luke. Someone want to speak to it?
Where are they camping that's causing issues?
I've had issues both at Perilla, Geranium, and Lumber. I have had problems with it at the moment. I'm not saying I want it, but that's the only place I have that issue with.
Generally good people.
So that's been over the last 8 months, probably, nothing prior to that, but the last 8 months, it's probably a significant increase in the numbers, and the length of stay has gone up from 1 to 3 days to 6, 10, 3 weeks. 4 weeks.
months.
Yeah.
And they should be at a caravan park if that's a.
It's plan to say something permanently, they need to be in the caravan park.
And I think I remember back to Lachlan's days, there was Pinaroo where someone was staying there for an unruly amount of time. They weren't being unruly behaved, but they were staying there for an amount of time. And the commercial operator was saying, hang on a minute, well, you know, there's a paid site and then there's your site, and they had their hose running out, draining water all over the ground. It's like, hang on, you're not meant to be doing that.
Yeah, I would also say that we've also had seasonal and things change as well, so something to get more, especially around harvest time, that sort of stuff, which puts a lot more pressure on these environments.
Does anyone else want to speak to it? I just probably wanted to raise, and it won't stop it happening, but it's one of the things we're considering in budget is costs, and cleaning and power and maintenance costs are certainly a thing. So we, you know, in conjunction with this, we are going to have to consider toilet and shower use and cleaning and fees and all that sort of stuff, because the other ratepayers just can't. Yes, it creates activity in some places, but you know, paying for the showers at Prilla, for instance, doesn't create any economic activity in Prilla. So hopefully it does elsewhere, but we need to be a bit careful about that. Okay. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. 11.5 National General Assembly. Yeah. 235. Yeah. If I can, I wanted to just state that originally the decision was not to go. Then there was trying to get these meetings over in Canberra. I said to Jason, geez, we probably need to be there. Once Sharon started telling us that the costs had gone through the roof compared to last year and that it's not somewhere we want to be. And I said to Jason, we'd be much better off if we can get the meetings to just fly over for the day and do the meetings and don't worry about the thing, because there's really no benefit in the thing for us at all. So on that premise, I'd like this to be removed and not do it, because I don't think it's the best solution for us. We might not even get the meetings, in which case it is a complete waste. So not sure what the best way to do that is, or what we've done with the others. Do we just leave it and let it rest?
Receiving the commission's report.
Okay.
And just.
That's it.
So if we can just drop the second part off. Yeah, receive and note. Yeah, that's fine. And, yeah, because it's certainly not something we were intending to do again unless there was a reason. Yeah. And sorry, Sharon, for wasting your time. So I'll move it for that. So yeah, the recommendation the council receive and note the contents of the report, but that's it. So Trevor stuck his hand up. Second, Luke, does anyone want to speak to that?
No, I think that's a wise decision on your behalf. I think what could be a really effective thing with this is you write to everyone that attends this, you know, open letter to the media, and you say, we would have loved to attend this, but our budget's in such a shithole because we don't have the adequate funding. Well, like to meet you, but that'd be a pretty effective letter, especially if that got out of the meeting.
Well, one of the things
We don't have the money to afford luxury buses.
One of the reasons for going was that we potentially were going to talk about doing a walkout and go stand on the steps with mayors of councils that were going to participate. The problem is it's like herding cats to get councils, even though they're in trouble, to actually sign up to it or agree to it. It's really problematic, but absolutely.
I think that could be quite effective.
Yeah. Cool. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Page 250, resolution status report.
All right, recommendation is that council will receive and note the contents of the report and determine that the resolutions identified in attachment 1 as completed have been accomplished and no further status report will be provided from both issues. I'll take them as read, but I'll take any questions.
We'll get it moved and seconded, and then we can question things and change if we need to. Move on. Neville. Oh, sorry, Chris, second to Neville. So anyone want to speak to Chris?
That's so no.
No, I'm good. David.
I was just thinking, that second one, the $30,000 for the Inaroo Footy Club, is that sort of in their budget in case? Yeah, it is. So that is a swap then, isn't it?
Geez, we're doing well on the old,
That's, yes,
I-
it's there.
in all fairness, I think it's something that we certainly could approach the club. Are they even reapplying for grant? Have they given up on
Oh, they've got the grant. No, I know they've
got a
that? They got a grant, they went for a bigger one, and my understanding is they might have lost.
They have
that
active plans with this money.
Yeah.
They have a,
It's
yes,
still, yeah. Okay, that'd be pretty disappointing.
yeah, we're still 30 grand out, a bit of that.
Just checking, yeah.
On with only the day on that, on the street signs.
Yes.
Oh,
And yeah, so we're going to get a date back from the other thing, if we're next noted on this one. We really want Ben to comment and say, well, you were going to look and see if it's a thing, but it doesn't matter because the time's passed anyway. Now it's probably more about getting a confirmation date from Ben of when we're going to get this finished by.
yeah,
Because that's really all Trevor's looking for.
yeah.
So, yes, that's going down. I don't know, there's that many pages getting filled out in that notebook, I think we're in trouble.
You think you're in trouble, I'm gonna do all this.
Well, historically, history hasn't proven that so far, but that's why you've got so much in there.
Probably is the landscapes, do they give you an answer or can't decide or?
Yeah, I'll come and show you. We did get an email. And I'll, yeah. I didn't quite know what it said, if I'm honest. It was like, yeah, we do it and we do it 6 monthly now and the next one's due in like December 2025 or something, wasn't it?
And there are bits and things,
Yeah,
website and.
Yeah.
basically leave us alone and we don't want to come, but we will if you want.
But so that reply, that needs to come out through because it's part of a motion. Yeah.
So I just wanted to get my head around it first.
Yeah.
Speak to you about it.
Full governments, but
Aren't they the worst?
Mhm.
No, just the query with Trevor's, that's all, all right, otherwise,
don't know.
nothing. No.
Luke?
No, it's surprised I've got done, that's good. Thanks.
Can we, is that noted anywhere that Luke was almost happy for something there?
So you didn't want a date.
Well, Jason's put it in his book
Yeah.
too, in the big black diary to get the reply from Ben. Yeah.
It's fine.
So the one that Chris was going to ask, it is confidential, but it's listed publicly, so we don't go into the issue. But the 16.2 pit rehabilitation, I just want to ask timeline, how are we progressing that to a finality?
We are, yes.
Yeah. So is there an expectancy that maybe by the next meeting it'll be resolved?
Part of it.
Okay. Happy days. I know that's what you wanted to ask, I just wanted to make sure it was noted that we can't, it's been going on a long time.
Yes.
I'll just go out there on 15.3 on the signage. If I stated there, it has been. It was given to us in our May bulletin. Support suggestions, stated sign enhancements, current assessment, faded signage underway and maintenance, so we've been given that. So does that come off?
No.
No.
No, it's not complete. It's in
Yeah.
progress. That's its note, it's in progress. Note, business and tourist wayfinding signage project completed in 2021, circulated with members. This report of suggestions on stage signage enhancements, current assessment of faded signage underway and under maintenance.
Yeah, so to Trevor's motion, and also, so it has been given to us, but not.
Well, it's not completed. It's the
Yeah.
faded, because all that first bit, the wayfinding, we didn't ask. It
Yeah.
actually wasn't about that. It was,
Just about
It was-
faded.
yeah, so it turned into that other thing when it was actually the original thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So asked and answered the wrong one, but the other one's in there.
They did the Gamble thing, they found a lot of problems for solutions.
There he is, it's back now.
I would just note on that before we vote on it as well, that if things stay on here for a period of time, which can happen, the numbers can be replicated. So we've had 2 3.1s as an example, actually we've got multiples, but there's been examples before where the same number has come up because it was in the same thing. So 10.4 wasn't actually the 10.4, it was a later 10.4. I think in our agendering and our minutes, we probably need to take into consideration things can live for a long time now. So when we're doing 11.6, is it, how do we determine that to be a different 11.6 to the previous 11.6s? You understand what I mean? So if it ends up on this register as a, the meeting date, the one that separates it? Okay. Well, they're all sustainability ones. They probably come out of the same meeting, but they've all been lumped in the same pot, so they're not really the same thing, but yeah, okay. Asked and answered. All
Yeah,
those in favour?
That was because there was a point. There was a few motions under the same
Yeah.
heading of that.
All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Questions on notice? Don't have any. Motions of notice. So this is me. 13.1 notice of rescission. Councillor Ron Valentine, Council Decision 1725, South Australian Ambulance Service Council Meeting 19 February 25. Motion that Council rescind the resolution associated with item 15.2 of the 19 February 25 Ordinary Council Meeting, being that the Mayor will write a letter to Chris Picton, Minister for Health and Wellbeing, in regard to current volunteering situation in Lameroo and Pinaroo, South Australian Ambulance Service. I'm assuming I can take it as read. Simply the rationale was that it's broadened out to a CFS SAS piece rather than specifically SAS. So that was the point behind it. So I assume I move my motion. Yep, so I move it. To have a seconder. Luke, does anyone want to speak to that? All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. That moves into 13.2. Motions on notice. Councillor Ron Valentine, Development and Bylaws. Motion that Council develop a relevant set of bylaws in most cost-effective way possible. Rationale that we've encountered multiple issues this term where it's been said we have no power to act as we don't have any bylaws in place. I think therefore it is time that we did, so that we can conduct business of council on behalf of our constituents. I'll probably further just comment to that. We've been told previously the reason for not doing that was it was cost prohibitive. Our new CEOs guaranteed us we can have that in for very little money, pennies on the dollar.
We could do it.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the reason we didn't have them in our term. We've been told it was cost prohibitive. Apparently it's not. So that's the point of moving. So I'll move my motion. Do I have a seconder, Luke? Does anyone want to speak to that? All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you.
So you don't have to create the bylaws, you can create them as you go.
They can borrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can plagiarise them.
Like, don't have that.
No.
It's just like the bluff application.
We've got the 5 in there, the ones that we'll look at. So
Leave it open.
permits and penalties. So
Make it up.
include your card.
Just bluff.
Yeah, movable sign, local government land, which is what Charlotte's already mentioned. Roads as well as animal management as well. So that's cats and dogs and sheep and roosters and all that sort of stuff in towns. Yeah, all of that. So we'll
Kangaroos.
People driving across the creative. No, but that's what it's all about. Absolutely. Yeah.
all of that. So yeah,
So what do you think about movable signs? Like,
you're all right.
I'm just saying what you.
You're all right.
Playing favourites now.
Oh.
Righto. Questions without notice? Chris?
One, I had a constituent at Pinaroo speaks to me about footy about the illegal dumping of rubbish at Pinaroo on the road on the way out to the dump and along the railway line. Their property goes along there and they've sort of noticed an increase in it. I'm just wondering, Ben's not here, but whether council have been out to look at that at all or have noted anything about it.
I'm completely unaware.
Is it piles of rubbish? Or is it a blowout of
It's gone through rubbish. It's gone through and found seats for no.
Oh,
Yeah.
On the way to the dump though.
On the way to the dump.
Yeah, it's piles.
Just blew out the back of it, huh?
No, they got purposely. put
Yeah.
No. You have to burn them when the weather gets wet.
Yeah, whether someone needs to go for a drive out there and have a look.
Yeah, particularly if there's identifying stuff in there, so hang on a minute, because
It's good stuff.
refer back to illegal dumping, yeah.
Yeah.
Campbell,
The city would go and do it.
David, Geez, that's a couple meetings in a row, I reckon. Devin, Luke,
Oh, okay, go on.
motions without notice. Well, so
What do you want?
no, so Luke's just saying, I've spoken about the fact that, things about, efficiency and money and finding savings and so on, that I was potentially going to raise a motion without notice. But I think based on today's discussions, I want to give Jason the opportunity to show us what he's going to do, before sort of going that path. So that's what that's about. So no, I don't have any. Confidential items, don't have any that I'm aware of. In that case, it is meeting closed at 7:30. Thank you very much, viewers.